Okay, so the gameplay trailer for Spider-Man 2 just came out, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's break it down. First off, we have Kraven's design, and he looks like an absolute tank. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not know, but I'm not a fan of the Insomniac game designs for the villains. I feel like they're too armory and complicated, but Kraven just looks insanely good. He's probably one of the most comic accurate designs we have in the Insomniac universe, and I'm so hyped to see it in actual motion within the game. Next, it looks like Kraven is going to New York to hunt everyone, not just Spider-Man, and that's going to be insane. That's going to be so awesome. It looks like he's hunting both Spider-Man, Lizard, Wraith, Kingpin, who for some reason is out of prison now, Tombstone, Black Cat, Prowler, and a lot more people. After that, it's the reveal of the map, and I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong. I wasn't just a small update, it was huge. It looks like they doubled the size of the map and added in Queens. We saw Midtown High, we saw Peter's house, and in Peter's house we get our first reveal of the suit. And this is where I get a little bit negative. I guess part of me really wished Insomniac would reinvent the symbiote suit like they did with the red and blue suit in the first game, where they put their own spin on it and completely revolutionized the character's design for a lot of people. But it just turned out to be the regular comic symbiote suit, but more alien-like. And that's another thing, I'm not a fan of the organic looking design for symbiote suits. It just doesn't go well with me. I much prefer when it looks like it's fabric, because in my opinion, it makes it easier for Peter to keep the suit if it looks like it's an actual suit and not just a piece of skin on him. But leaving the negative zone, the gameplay for the symbiote is insane. It does remind me of Web of Shadows, which is not a bad thing at all. Everything I saw from that was crazy. The way he was able to use his tendrils and use the webs to toss people around and stuff, that was just crazy. Once we saw the way Peter manhandled Kraven's men, we got our introduction to the first of the switching mechanic, and we go to Miles, where we get introduced to a web slingshot, which hell yeah, and we're introduced to web wings. At first I was put off by it, but now I'm all for it, because if we're going to go to Queens, the gliding is going to be necessary to get around since there's less tall buildings. Also, it seems like there's little air pockets where you can get a boost, which will be insane for speed and traversal, and people are going to do so many cool tricks using that web wing, and I can't wait to see it. I didn't mention this earlier, but the UI got a change, and I really like it. From the looks of things, L1 will be special abilities, and R1 will be gadgets, which seems cool, but past that, we actually get to see some of the gadgets in work, and one of the gadgets we see is the new and improved web lines, and they are so cool. I needed this. Using the webs in more ways than just combat is a huge upside. I'm so glad they're doing it. For the most part though, the stealth sections do just seem like a slightly improved version of the original ones, with new ways to take him down, which is fine. The stealth sections in the first game were fine, so it doesn't really need to be improved that much. Now I'm going to speedrun this part a bit, because if I'm honest, there's not a lot to break down in the mission section. There is a little bit of the horror elements that we were getting teased leading up to the gameplay reveal of this game having some horror elements, and we see that with Lizard. We actually get a jump scare at one point, which was super cool. Also, there's a lot of blood in this game, a lot more than I expected, which is going to be interesting to see if they start taking some of that out so they can keep it a T rating, or if they embrace it and make it a mature rating. If they do, that's going to be crazy. Also, I forgot to mention that this shot with the symbiote suit in the shadow is just insane. One of the best shots I've ever seen in a Spider-Man thing ever. But speaking of Lizard, Lizard's design is incredible. It really reminds me of Lizard from the Shed storyline in the comics, where Lizard eats Billy Connors in order to rid himself of Kurt Connors' consciousness. And if they adapted that, I would freak out and love that, but I won't hold my breath. The design, however, is crazy, and I love it. We did get a few tidbits of story hints in the mission section, that being Peter knows that Harry is dying, and Kurt Connors is the only one that can save him. And I'm confident in saying we will almost certainly get a Miles versus Peter fight in the game, just by the way Peter is treating Miles while he has the symbiote, and the way Miles reacts to that. He knows something's not right, and it's going to lead to them clashing, and it's going to be the coolest boss fight in the history of Spider-Man games. Now, some things we didn't get a release date, which was kind of a bummer, but we did get 12 minutes of gameplay, so I'm not too bothered by it. And no Venom. We did get to see the symbiote, which was awesome, but no Venom. Still no confirmation on who's going to be Venom or how Venom is created. So that kind of sucked, but they're probably saving that for later and just letting us eat with the symbiote suit for Peter for now. There is one little bit of detail at the end of the gameplay reveal that said that Peter has teeth too. That could just be a metaphor that says that he's angry, or could he be playing Venom as well? Could we be playing Peter as Venom? It would be an interesting way to adapt the symbiote storyline, but again, I don't know. It might just be over speculation. It might be just reading too much into the line, but it would be really cool if we could play as Venom as Peter. In all, like I said in the expectation video yesterday, the game does seem like an improved version of the first game, with nothing too revolutionary about it, but that's not a bad thing at all. A lot of people thought I was saying that in a negative way. It's not bad at all. The first game was incredible, and this game will be too. If it's an improved version of the first game, then this game is just going to be better than the first game. Overall, the gameplay trailer was great. We got a few story hints, more smaller details throughout the gameplay trailer that I will be diving deep into throughout the week. So get ready, the hype for Spider-Man 2 is on. Also, no word on MJ missions yet, but if they let us play as Genki in a bird drone, I'm okay with it.